Hello and welcome to the ARCA Series Rewind Show. I'm Garth Allen. This is Racing News Now. And today we're talking about ARCA's second time at Watkins Glen in its entire history. The only other time ARCA has ever been to Watkins Glen was in 2001. ARCA finally making its return to Watkins Glen today in the Clean Harbords 100 at the Glen. 41 laps, 100.45 miles around the 2.45 mile road course in Watkins Glen, New York. Also, if you're new here, just want to quickly tell you that we're currently in our hashtag Race to 1K. We only got 80 subscribers left to go, so we're getting so close to that. The quicker we get to 1,000 subscribers, the quicker YouTube will let us do mobile live streaming, which will greatly improve both the quality and quantity of coverage we're able to give you from the track for the rest of the season. The plan is to be at every main ARCA Series race for the rest of the season. Michigan, Springfield, Milwaukee, DuQuoin, Bristol, Salem, Kansas, everything for the rest of the season. That is the plan. So the quicker we get to 1,000 subscribers, the quicker you get more and better coverage from those races. So if that's something that interests you, just go down below, hit that subscribe button for me. And it was a pretty good race today. Not quite the excitement that we've had in previous races this season, specifically last week at Winchester, but I think given everything that went on this week and all the drama surrounding ARCA this week, this was the kind of race we needed this week. We needed just a good, clean, competitive race. And while there were different points where it wasn't so competitive, there wasn't one driver running away with this race. We had one driver jump out to the lead early, another one fought his way from the middle of the pack to the lead in the middle of the race, and then a different driver took the lead late in the race. So it was kind of a mixed bag today, and really more competitive than I think what a lot of people thought this race was going to be, even with a bigger car count in this race. Top-notch race today. I think this is exactly what we needed out of Watkins Glen. Was it a 2012 Cup Series type finish from Watkins Glen, where we had Marcus Ambrose and Brad Keselowski beating on each other for the entire last lap? No. Was it a good, solid, clean, entertaining road course race? Yes, it was. And again, I think it's exactly what ARCA needed after the past week that has gone on within the ARCA Series world. So, let's look at your caution report for this race. Only one caution in this race for a total of 3 laps, and that was at lap 17 when the 3 of Dale Quarterly spun himself off the nose of Drew Dollar in turn 11. This would become the break for the race as it was close enough to halfway. The break was planned about lap 20. Since this came out at lap 17, it made sense to make this the break. So this became the only caution in this race. Let's talk about this wreck a little bit because I've seen conflicting stories on what actually happened here. From my point of view, I saw a lot of people blaming Drew Dollar for this wreck. I don't think this was necessarily Drew Dollar's fault. Drew Dollar had the position. He had the nose inside Dale Quarterly going into that final corner, and Quarterly just kind of chopped his nose off. I don't know if Quarterly didn't know that Drew was there. I don't know if he saw Drew on the inside coming into the corner but expected that Drew was going to back out and he didn't. I don't know what was going through Dale Quarterly's mind in this instance, but Drew Dollar had the nose there, and from the camera angles we were given on the broadcast, I saw no indication that Drew turned left or did anything to cause this wreck other than just being in the wrong place at the wrong time. And I don't want to necessarily say that Dale Quarterly outright wrecked himself, but the fact of the matter is Quarterly did come across Drew Dollar's nose here, and really, from my point of view, I don't think Drew Dollar did anything wrong in this situation. So, but again, I don't know that it was necessarily completely Dale Quarterly's fault either. I don't know how you exactly place blame for this. It's just kind of a racing incident. These kind of things happen on road courses. Lap leaders on the day. We had 3 different leaders in this race. As I mentioned, we had one driver get out front early, another led through the middle portion of the race, and then a different driver led the final stint of the race. Those 3 drivers being Corey Heim leading the most laps, 18 laps total. Ty Gibbs led 14 laps, and Chase Briscoe led 9 laps in this race. Now the question is, who led which stint of the race, and who was the driver leading at the end of the race? Ty Gibbs started on the pole in this race, so I think in that instance it's safe to assume Ty Gibbs was your leader early on in this race. And yes, he did lead the first about third of this race or so before Chase Briscoe got up there and took the lead from him. Chase Briscoe, remember, won the ARCA West race at Sonoma a couple months ago. He led for a while and then ended up having some mechanical issues right about the time Corey Heim caught Ty Gibbs for second, which ended up becoming the battle for the lead with Chase Briscoe on pit road with his mechanical issues. Corey Heim takes the lead on lap 24 and never looks back. Corey Heim picks up his first road course win this season, win number 5 on the season, career win number 6 for Corey Heim. And with this win, it feels almost like the momentum has shifted. The momentum felt like it was in Ty Gibbs' favor for a few weeks, but now, I don't know what it is, but after this race, it just feels like the momentum is in Corey Heim's favor. Maybe it's just me that feels that, but something about how this race ended and where we're at after this race, it feels like the momentum is in Corey Heim's favor, which is not a good thing for Ty Gibbs, especially with some of the tracks coming up. Yes, the 18 won at Michigan last year with Riley Herbst, but Corey Heim has been pretty good on the big tracks this year. Then we go to a road course at Springfield the same weekend, 2 days later. Corey Heim has been very good at dirt tracks in his short stint in the ARCA Menard Series. Honestly, I would give the favor a little bit to Corey Heim in those dirt races. Venturini Motorsports has also been very good in those dirt races of late. So I think things are going to start swinging back in Corey Heim's favor here going forward. And the people that are saying that this is still a Ty Gibbs championship and he's still going to run away with it now are still being proved wrong right now with Corey Heim picking up this win and stealing another win from Ty Gibbs. And again, kind of moving the momentum in that direction in the favor of the 20 car. No matter who has the momentum right now, this has been an epic championship battle up to this point, and for all signs given, will be an epic championship battle right down to the last race, to the last lap of the season at Kansas. I've said this a couple times. I said it on the watch party. I said it earlier when did the ARCA post-race show with Casey Campbell earlier. There's two ways you can look at this right now, with Corey Heim and Ty Gibbs basically winning every race this season other than Daniel Dye winning at Berlin. There's two ways you can look at this. I've seen a lot of people talking about how this is just a boring season with Corey Heim and Ty Gibbs winning every race. You can look at it that way. That is one way to look at this. But I think the better way to look at this is we're watching kind of history in the making right now with what is going to be a championship battle that is going to be talked about for decades going forward in the ARCA Menard Series. These two are titans, and they will continue to be titans as they rise through the NASCAR ladder to the NASCAR Cup Series. This is a championship battle that we're going to be talking about in 10 years when these two are fighting for a NASCAR Cup Series championship. These two are going to go down in the history books, and it's a competitive championship battle. We are watching these two trade wins with each other week in and week out. 1 week Gibbs wins. The next week Corey Heim wins. The next week, Gibbs wins again. Then Heim steals another one from him, and it just goes back and forth. Yes, they've had a few rough races. Corey Heim with the bump and run at Elko. Ty Gibbs with the dump and run at Winchester. But more often than not, they've kept it pretty clean as they did today. Did they drive each other hard? Yes. Did they give each other much room? No. But they kept it clean, and as far as I saw, never made contact once today, which actually surprised me after Corey's post-race comments at Winchester. I was kind of expecting that today. It didn't happen. They raced each other clean and came away with an incredible battle for this win. And we're going to continue seeing that through the rest of the season. We're watching a fantastic championship battle. Again, you can choose to see this as boring because there's only two guys winning pretty much every race. But you can also look at this as a historic year in the ARCA Menard Series and a fantastic championship battle. Week in, week out, we are seeing some fantastic racing for each win from these two drivers. And I'm here, I'm all about it. I am ready to see these final 7 races this season to see how this plays out. So let's look at the results. Corey Heim, as we mentioned, won this race. Austin Hill ended up stealing second from Ty Gibbs in the closing laps of this race. That 1 point that Ty lost from falling to second or third might be the difference in this championship. As close as this has been, that very well right there could be the difference in this championship. Ty ended up in third. Carson Hocevar in the 50 car for Nice Motorsports came home in fourth, with Brandon Jones rounding out the top 5 in the Venturini 25 car. Rest of your top 10, Riley Herbst making his return to the ARCA Menard Series in the 54 for DGR, came home in 6th. Taylor Gray 7th, Nick Sanchez 8th, Austin Wayne Self in 9th in the 32 for AM Racing. And Jack Wood rounded out the top 10, his return to that 21 car for GMS. 11th through 20th, a little bit of a disappointing day for Thad Moffitt. Came home in the 11th position. Never much of a factor today. And I know he wanted a better run than that, with his sponsor on his car, Clean Harbords, being the entitlement sponsor of the race. Unfortunately, was not really able to do much today. Came home in the 11th position. Road course ace Chris Wright, not able to do much in that Red Jones Racing Ford, came home in 13th. Sam Mayer, very fast car today, up in the top 2, top 3, until he wheel hopped a little bit coming into the bus stop at one point, spun it through the grass in the middle of the bus stop, came back out onto the track. I'm very surprised nobody hit him during that incident, but he continued on, had to pit, ended up a lap down, and never was able to recover from that one lap down in the 14th position. Drew Dollar spun with about 2 laps to go, and I don't believe ever actually got the car refired. Spun it around, caught the gravel, the kitty litter a little bit, stopped again, and then, as far as I saw from what TV showed, never actually got back moving after that point. So I'm not really sure what the deal was there, why he didn't continue on and finish the race, but ended up in 15th, 1 lap down because of that. Andy Jankowiak, his first road course start, came home in 16th. Final page 21st through 29th. Tyler Ankrum in the 42 for Bruce Cook this week, the car that Parker Retzlaff had been piloting in the East Series this season. Came home in 22nd. Chase Briscoe, after his mechanical issues, retired after 25 laps and ended up in the 23rd position. Brad Perez in the 60 car for Josh Williams Motorsports came home in 24th. Dale Quarterly, after his accident, landed in 25th. So that's your results from the Clean Harbors 100 at the Glen. Should have a Corey Heim interview coming up this week. We'll see when exactly that happens, when we can fit into his schedule. But look for that probably first half of the week or so, Monday, Tuesday, somewhere in there. If you're not already subscribed, make sure you got that subscribe button clicked down below, and you got the bell turned on for notifications so you don't miss a thing going forward from RNN, and you know exactly when that Corey Heim interview comes out here in a couple of days. We'll talk to him about this exciting road course win and pulling himself back into the championship battle. Speaking of which, let's look at those point standings now. Ty Gibbs does still hold the lead, but only by 2 points now over that driver of the 20 car after his 5th win of the season. This championship battle is getting good, y'all. I am loving what I'm seeing right now, and I have no reason to believe this is not going to continue throughout the rest of the season. We've got a week off now before we head to Michigan on the 20th. Actually, a busy weekend coming up with Michigan, a West race at Irwindale. That's Saturday night. Michigan is on Friday. And then Sunday that weekend, the main ARCA Series, 2 days after their race at Michigan, goes to the dirt at the Illinois State Fairgrounds at Springfield, Illinois. Big weekend coming up here after a week off. May make a difference in this championship battle. May extend the lead for Ty, may put Corey back on top. We will see what happens. I'm ready for it, though. The off weekend cannot go by quick enough, though. I'll tell you that much. The battle for third has heated up just a little bit. It lengthened a little bit last week, but now has closed back just a little bit. 23 points is the gap from Thad Moffitt to Nick Sanchez for that third position. We're watching that just about as tightly as we are that battle for the championship with Ty Gibbs and Corey Heim. Taylor Gray has moved his way back into the top 10 as well, now sitting in 9th. That's your point standings, though, following the Clean Harbors 100 at the Glen, and I think that's going to do it for us today on this ARCA Rewind show. Like I said, we've got an off weekend coming up, but then Michigan and Springfield in the same week, Milwaukee the week after that, DuQuoin the week after that, and it just keeps ramping up to the end of the season. We got a lot of good tracks coming up, a lot of good races coming up. The return to Milwaukee. We've got dirt races coming up. We got Michigan coming up. We got Bristol on tap after all that, and Salem. the Fall Classic at Salem, which in the past has been a throwback race. I don't know if that's still a thing this year or not, but in the past, the Fall Night Race at Salem has been a throwback race. So could be some interesting paint schemes at that race if that's still a thing this year. I'm excited for it if it is. I'm excited for it nonetheless because Salem's a great track and that will be a great race. It'll be the penultimate race of the season. Could make the championship race even more interesting headed into Kansas. We don't have too many races left. We got 7 of them left, and this championship is only separated by 2 points. We got a lot to look forward to throughout the rest of the season. But as always, we want to thank our Patreon supporter, Regional Manager William Holmes. Thank you as always for your support. It is greatly appreciated. If you would like to be a patron of RNN, the link is down below in the description, patreon.com/racingnewsnow. Not required by any means, but it's definitely appreciated when you want to support RNN in that way. But I think that's going to do it for us on this ARCA Menard Series Rewind show. So at that, I'm Garth Allen for Racing News Now.